Okay, so welcome to another episode of A Critic's Journey, and I'm so sorry it's been a little gap between episodes, but I've been pretty sick recently. I had a bout of tonsillitis, and then to top that off, decided to catch the flu off the back of that. So I apologise that it's been a little while between episodes of A Critic's Journey, but I wanted to talk today about a movie that I fell in love with the very first time I watched the film, to the point where when I watched this movie back in the late 1990s, I think it would have been, I actually made myself a promise that I would one day go to where this film was filmed. The film I'm talking about is Danny Boyle's The Beach. Now, you're going to get a few Danny Boyle's films in this series because I am a huge Danny Boyle fan. He's probably my very favourite director. I love so many of the movies that he's made over the years. I love that you can never tell what any of his films are going to be like before you go into them. The guy just has mixed and matched genres for so many years now that it's just absolutely amazing. Now, The Beach, to me, goes very close to being the perfect film. For those that know me, I love a movie with a bit of an alternative edge, and The Beach has that. Now, I hadn't read the novel before I saw the film. I saw the film first, then went and watched the novel. I completely understand why some people who watch this movie who have already read the novel say that they don't like some of the changes in it, because to be completely honest, I'm a little bit the same after I've read the novel. There's a kind of relationship thing here that happens between the character of Richard, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Virginia Loudon's character that doesn't actually happen in the novel. And for me, that makes Richard a better man in the novel than what it does Richard as a character in The Beach. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like what happens in the film, because I completely adore this film. For those that haven't seen the film, it's about a serial traveller, Richard, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and while travelling to Thailand, he kind of has a weird kind of encounter with this guy Daffy, played by Robert Carlyle, who gives him this map that is supposed to be a map to a virtual paradise. Now, Richard ends up meeting Francois, played by Virginia Loudon, and he's besotted by her straight away. But she has a boyfriend, Etienne, played by Guillermo Canet. So it's kind of like nothing's going to happen there. But Richard, wanting to impress her, mentions this island that he has got the map to. Now, they end up travelling to the island, which is filmed on the very, very beautiful PP Island in Phuket, just off Phuket, I should say. And he finds a kind of community run by a character played by Sal, called Sal, played by Tilda Swinton. And they kind of have this perfect lifestyle. They all live in this beautiful, beautiful island. They have access to marijuana, which makes their time there even better. They don't have a care in the world. The one rule is they don't go and take too much of the marijuana. Now, Richard's arrival kind of almost scares the group, because they're a little bit alarmed that he's been told about this secret that Daffy probably shouldn't have told people about. I should also mention that Daffy is like very mentally unstable. Something's happened to him, and you're not 100% sure what has actually happened. And like all good tales, this paradise can drift into being a hell. But what I love about this movie is I just love the travelling element to this film. I love the characters. They're so well set up. Leonardo DiCaprio is brilliant in this film. And off the back of making making Titanic. This was kind of a surprising choice for him because this wasn't a big blockbuster. You have to think about at this moment that Danny Boyle had just come off making Trainspotting about 4 years earlier. He just made a Life Less Ordinary, which was again kind of strange crime film noir film that wasn't a big blockbuster. There was rumors going around while The Beach was being made that there was a falling out between Danny Boyle and his golden boy, Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor wanted the role. The role ended up going to Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was paid $20 million to play Richard in The Beach. And for a lot of people, it was a surprising choice for him because he basically had the world at his feet, but he loved the novel, they say. I can't say if that's true or not, but they say that he absolutely loved the novel and wanted to be involved with the film, and that's the reason why he ended up wanting to make The Beach. To me, this film shows what Danny Boyle does best. He makes an alternative kind of film. He's not frightened to take chances at all. He takes a big chance in the middle of this movie during Richard's hallucination, where Richard thinks he's in the middle of a video game. And these chances end up working. It's an absolutely spectacular film, like you would expect from a Danny Boyle movie. It's got an amazing soundtrack. In fact, I should tell a funny story about that, because when I went to see this movie, I came out of the film and straight away went to buy the soundtrack because I fell in love with this song called Touched by Vast. And it was one of those times when you rush out and buy a soundtrack and you find that that song is not on the soundtrack. And I was majorly devastated by that. But look, it's got an amazing soundtrack. Everybody from Moby through to Orbital. Sugar Ray's got a really, really weird track on there. So if you kind of like a little bit of obscure kind of electronica, this is the soundtrack for you. But yeah, look, my journey with this film, like I said, I watched this film in 2000 when it came out, and I said at that stage that I wanted to go to Phi Phi Island. It was absolutely on my bucket list from that moment on. And 19 years later, I got my wish. Went to Phi Phi Island, had the opportunity to talk to some of the locals, and found out that some of the stories that went out about this movie, about environmental vandalism and stuff like that, never happened. It was all made up, according to the locals on the island. Got to buy my own special Richard necklace while I was there on the island, that this lady who had a stall was telling me that the local women made a lot of the costumes that was used in the actual film when it came to jewellery. And they had replicas there, so I bought myself one. Look, all I can say is that part of the world is absolutely beautiful. Danny Boyle captures it amazingly well on screen. The Phi Phi Island is a paradise upon its own. I actually remember, and this is, I think, is a moment I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I remember sitting on the back of the speedboat that I went out to the island on, when we were coming away from the island, and just looking back towards Phi Phi Island, and I realized that this is what paradise looks like in films. We so often see films that are set on a paradise island like this, and you think, wow, they must have spent so much money making it look like that. They don't. I can't say it any other way. I just remember looking back from the speedboat back towards Phi Phi Island and thinking, wow, this is literally paradise. Like, it is absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. The clear water that you see in the film, in the lagoon kind of area, it's all there. And I remember being on the boat and just looking around on the island and thinking, wow, everything that's in this movie is right here. They haven't changed a thing. It's just absolutely spectacular. So look, if you like a kind of alternative film, go and check out The Beach. I've followed the career of Virginia Loudon after watching this film, and she's made some spectacular French films over the years. So check them out as well, because I think so much was kind of put onto the performance of Leonardo DiCaprio in this film that we forget the people that surrounded him in this film. Tilda Swinton does a great job with her role. Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. Virginia Loudon, I think, is still one of the most underrated actresses in the world, even just off the back of her performance in this film. Robert Carlyle, even though he's not in it for very long, is amazing as Daffy. This is an utterly spectacular film. It's a 5-star film for me, always has been, and it's such an amazing part of the world. And I challenge you to watch this film and then not want to go to PP Island, because it is an amazing place. And the other place too that some of this film is shot in is in Phuket. And when you watch this movie and then you go to Phuket, you look around and you're like, wow, this is the street where they filmed it. Just Danny Boyle has this way of capturing the environment that he's filming in like no other director, and it shows in this film. So go and watch The Beach, and I challenge you not to want to go to PP Island after you've watched it. It's 5 stars for me for The Beach.